Senators Rand Paul and Josh Hawley, both Republicans, are at odds when it comes to TikTok and banning it potentially. Let's watch some of this.
If Republicans want to continuously lose elections for a generation, they should pass this bill to ban TikTok, a social media app used by 150 million people, primarily young Americans. This brilliant strategy comes while polls indicate that 71% of young women and men, 53% of young men voted for a Democrat candidate for Congress. Admittedly, many Democrats have joined Republicans in calling for this ban, but like most issues, the blame will stick to the Republicans more. The Republican strategy to ban TikTok comes simultaneously with GOP complaints of domestic social media companies canceling and censoring conservatives. The Vice President of FreedomWorks, John Tamny, perhaps described this situation best. Nauseating harassment of TikTok presumes Americans will be saved from Chinese authoritarianism if U.S. politicians act like Chinese authoritarians. We're going to be saved from speech if we ban it in our country. My goodness, could we think of anything more antithetical to the freedom of speech? For me, it's an easy answer. I will defend the Bill of Rights against all comers, even if need be from members of my own party.
Senator from Missouri.
Would the senator from Kentucky entertain a question?
I object.
No. The objection is heard.
Madam President.
Senator from Missouri.
Madam President, I have never before heard on this floor a defense of the right to spy. I didn't realize that the First Amendment contained a right to espionage. The senator from Kentucky mentions the Bill of Rights. I must have missed the right of Chinese governments to spy on Americans in our Bill of Rights, because that's what we're talking about here. The senator from Kentucky can watch as many dance videos as he wants. I have no objection to that. He could watch them on this floor for all I care. Fine.
So this is a big debate going on right now about what to do about TikTok, and I know you and I disagree on this. There's been some interesting bedfellows here. Tucker Carlson has spoken out against the Restrict Act. Rand Paul has spoken out against this, and AOC and Ilhan Omar, and then you have a lot of people like Josh Hawley, Mitt Romney, others thinking that this is an urgent national security issue. So I take Rand Paul's point at the beginning that I agree with him that banning an app that is extremely popular with millions of young people would hurt the GOP. I don't think that's the main reason even to oppose the TikTok ban, although I do agree with that. My main issue is that the censorship, I accept that the Chinese government has influence on TikTok that is bad, but we've seen so many cases of the American government, the FBI, the CDC, the State Department, Homeland Security, and on and on and on, exercising similar horrific powers over Twitter, Facebook, etc. And let's concentrate on that. We're not going to have the censorship is already happening, and we need to do something about that. And getting rid of TikTok, I don't think improves the speech landscape at all. But I know you disagree. So what is your pitch for why we should do something about TikTok?
I mean, okay, first of all, ostensibly our government is supposed to have some sort of oversight and ability to correct the direction that, organizations like the CIA, the FBI, and so forth, are going in. And so when they, spy on us in a way that we don't like, we have the ability to elect, elected officials to do something about that. Now, obviously, things are not happening as fast as we want. Obviously, there are real problems with getting, our desires, our wishes heard in Washington as Americans. But at the end of the day, you cannot compare a foreign adversary to bad actors within your own government. I mean, I think at that point, you really have to believe that the deep state is out to get us. And I just think that involves a level of conspiratorial thing, to compare American institutions, even ones that are behaving in ways we don't like, to a foreign adversary that is committed to our destruction through our children's hearts and minds. To me, that's just, I think that is just not compelling. It's not convincing because of the level of oversight. I'm not saying you have to believe that the FBI has our best interests at heart, although I think, it is strange to hear people on the right suddenly think that, that they actually want to destroy America. You don't have to think that they have our best interests at heart. You have to think that the oversight system is going to work. And, right now it is working. I mean, right now there is just huge amounts of transparency in terms, from the Twitter files in terms of how this happened, how this went down, and a real push and desire for accountability coming from, the highest levels of the government, not, of course, the president, because it was under his watch and probably something that he wanted. But, if we get a Republican president, you're going to see real action on this front. So to me, that idea that you can compare a foreign adversary committed to our destruction to the hearts and minds of our kids, literally instructing them on how to kill themselves through anorexia and pranks and destroying their ability to interact with humans, to go outside and get exercise. I mean, just really destroying their adversary through the hearts and minds of their kids. I just think you can't compare that to, institutions in America. Yes, I agree, totally have lost their way, but we have the ability as Americans to force them back.
I mean, why do you think the content on TikTok is more harmful for young people than the content on Instagram? I don't at all. I'm sure there's bad content. There's bad content on all social media platforms. Some of it. I don't think on the whole it's bad for young people. I think. Right. Some young people, yes, they're too on their phones. Take their phones away, make them go outside. I agree with all of that. We've basically criminalized letting your kids, play outside and have some sense of autonomy. And I would, change all of those laws. But TikTok is it's collaborative and social and it can be educational. Again, I don't think all the content on it is good. I'm sure you can find bad content as you can on every other corner of the internet. But to say that the kids need protection from it because they're gonna find some bad stuff on occasion, I think that's, I do think that clashes with the ethos of the First Amendment. That puts the federal government in the position of being parents to millions of kids. We expect. Young people are getting their news this way, right? They're becoming better informed. Our show isn't. I don't know that people watch it on TikTok, but they watch it on YouTube. What if YouTube has a foreign adversary connection or something, or we're worried it's being used by foreign actors? Let's ban it. I would be well, no, they're not going to be able to watch our show. Not to personalize it or something, but alternative content, content alternative to the mainstream media and all that, flourishes on all sorts of social media platforms. And I think suddenly depriving millions of people of that will be way worse for their health than the alternative.
I really do not like the idea of 150 million Americans getting their news from an app that is basically controlled by our foreign adversary, right? That's bad. I would rather they be uninformed than be informed through an app that filters information through what's good for China. And we know that it's doing that because we know what it looks like in China. Douyin, which is the TikTok version, looks very different. It teaches you basically how to be a good Chinese citizen and how to garden. That's all basically all you can get on that app. And then it kicks you off after 40 minutes if you're under 16.
Well,
so,
but that's
we know that.
I'm sure the Chinese version is probably relentless state propaganda for children. China's not a free country, right? Yeah, you're right, but that is bad. The government having the power to limit kids' exposure to state-approved subjects for 40 minutes is a bad thing that China has that, thank goodness, the U.S. doesn't.
Right, but I'm saying, if they're doing it there, they're doing it here, right? So, right, if they have the power to do that to Douyin, they are certainly doing that with TikTok here. So you asked me, is the content worse? Mm-hmm. Yes, it is worse. There is much more content there just because there's more kids there, but there's more content there on how to kill yourself, on how to be, substance abuse, how to get illegal drugs, how to cross the border illegally, how to be an anorexic. All of this stuff exists in spades and spades and spades on TikTok, but it's not just the content. It's that it is so addictive. That algorithm is so good. Kids will be on it for 10 hours straight. And so whatever is on it, they're just getting more and more of it. And it is all CCP approved, right? So the CCP very actively engages in suppressing information that they don't like, meaning everything that's on there is stuff that the Chinese who created this excellent algorithm is going to hurt us as a nation.
I don't think there's any evidence that their suppression of content is more so than the again, the FBI and the CDC suppression
Robbie,
of
have you
content
tried
on art.
going on TikTok and searching Uyghur? Try it one time.
You
It's
can,
a very
you can do it.
enlightening experience.
I have. You can find. Look, I'm not.
There's very little. There's just
they take
very,
it down.
very,
They do bad
very
things.
little.
Don't like it. Not making apologies for it. But you couldn't. We mentioned this earlier. You couldn't discuss the lab leak on Facebook for an entire year.
Yeah. So it's bad. It's bad when American companies do it, and we need to intervene, and we need to get to the bottom of it. It is much, much worse when a country that is committed to our destruction does it using our children to do it. That's just worse. It's an order of magnitude worse, plus all the spying. I mean, this is what I don't understand. Yeah, the Restrict Act, I agree. It's terribly written. I mean, it's obviously a power grab by Democrats. Okay, let's get that off the table. Totally agree. But Josh Hawley's bill, just to limit it from government devices that are literally in government build that are literally have government documents, secret classified government documents on them. What could possibly be wrong with that?
I mean, I don't care if they take it away from, I don't think it's necessary, but I also don't care if they limit, state employees. That's fine. That's fine by me. Look, I appreciate their ability to do, to collect our data. I think all the social media companies are collecting our data, and it's going to be hard to put that genie back in the bottle. And I mean, they could also, if they were not just gathering it, they could purchase access to it as well. That's going to be a problem we're going to be contending with on all levels. But good debate on this subject. We got to wrap up the week, I guess. Batya, what do you have going on this weekend?
Oh boy. I haven't even thought that far ahead, Robbie. What about you?
All right. Well, I actually don't know what I'm doing either. I'm definitely seeing the new Dungeons and Dragons movie next week, though. I think not this weekend. I'm not quite sure when it comes out. Super excited for that. There's going to be a Super Mario Brothers movie, a new Legend of Zelda video game. I'm in heaven. I'm in nerd paradise. So if you missed any of our content, you can tune in tomorrow and throughout the weekend. We'll post our highlights from the last few days. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're available anywhere you can consume podcasts. I'll see you next week, Batya. Thanks for joining us.